I'm a pro runner. I've been running for a company called Normal for about 2 years at this point. Being a pro runner is amazing because I love running. I would do it whether or not I was getting paid. But running is not lucrative in the same way that most professional sports are. Like you think of football, basketball, hockey, baseball. These people are raking in the big bucks. Running is not that way. So most people that are professional runners are in it for the love of the sport, and only the people in the top 1% are really making a ton. Like the people winning Olympic gold medals and world marathon majors, they are making a ton of money, millions a year. The rest of us, not so much. I'm not complaining because I'm not in it for the money. But there are a few ways that pro runners can make money. Also, I just want to address that it looks weird when I talk because this side of my face is still not fully functioning after the surgery, so just bear with me here. So the ways that pro runners can make money are contracts. So for example, my contract with Normal. Bonuses, which are in that contract. The brand will basically pay you for certain performance standards that are preset in the contract. Appearance fees, which are from race organizers and organizations to attract athletes to compete in their races and build media attention. And then there's prize money. Now, contracts and bonuses are closed in the running world, so those are not open to the public, and athletes are usually contractually obligated to not disclose how much they make. That's a little bit of a problem because it makes it really hard to know if contracts are equitable between genders, and also it makes it difficult for athletes to understand what their worth is in the sport. But that's a completely different topic for another day if people are interested. For now, I want to talk about the one thing that's fully open in running, and that is prize money. This year, I did 16 races, and I'm going to talk about how much prize money I made in those, how competitive those races were, and a little bit about how expensive it was to go to the race and whether or not there were any athlete accommodations. First up, I did a cross-country season. I competed at US cross country and I got 4th place. This was a pretty competitive race, and it's also a US championship, so there was prize money and I won $1,000. However, this was one of the less competitive years of US cross country, so in another year, getting 4th at US cross would be like literally incredible, and to only win $1,000 for that is kind of crazy, but for that year, I felt like it was pretty fair. I was happy to get $1,000. To tune up for World Cross Country, I did the Leprechaun Leap 5K in Seattle. This was a very non-competitive race, just a local one. I won, got $0. I didn't expect anything. That was all good. Next up was World Cross Country. Now, I got 30th place here, but the US team got 4th. The 4th place team got $10,000. We split that 6 ways for the 6 people on the team, and that came out to $1,666.67 each. Also for this race, all of my travel and accommodations and food were covered by USATF. So I spent no money going to this race and came away with over $1,600. Huge success. Money's never the actual reason a race is a success, but it is a nice bonus. That was the end of my cross-country season. I then moved into track racing. So my first race was Peyton Jordan, where I ran the steeplechase, and I placed 4th. I ran 9:37 and got an Olympic trials qualifying time, so that was already absolutely priceless. Guess we're going to the Olympic trials. This race was kind of competitive, but not anything crazy. There was no prize money because it was technically a collegiate meet. There's no prize money ever at college meets. Next up, I went to LA Track Fest and I placed 4th there as well. World Athletics has like a ranking system for meets, and this was a bronze level meet, which is like the 4th highest level, and I got 4th, but did not get any prize money. I feel like for a bronze level meet, there should have been prize money through 4th, but also like I didn't run crazy well. I ran 9:32 and got a season best. I didn't feel like I deserved prize money, you know? Anyways, didn't win any money there. Next up was Portland Track Festival, and here I won, and I ran a PR of 9:24. I was like so stoked about it, so happy. I ended up winning $1,000 from Portland Track, which was really cool. Some of my accommodations were covered at this one because I paced the 10K right after the steeplechase, and I got paid $500 for pacing the 10K and also got my hotel covered. I'm not going to count that towards like the overall prize money totals, but that is interesting. Next up after that was the Olympic trials, and I raced the prelim there and got 5th in my heat, so I got an auto queue to the final but won no money obviously because it's a prelim. In the final, I placed 7th and ran a PR of 9:21, which I was not really that happy with, to be honest, because I felt like I had more in me and the stars did not align for me that day. But I did win $1,100. And if you placed in the top 8 at the trials, USATF would retroactively cover up to $2,000 of your travel and accommodations for the trials, which was super nice because Eugene is very, very expensive to stay in when there's a US championship. So that was cool. That was the end of my track season. Throughout all of my racing this year and my training, I have been relying on the COROS Pace 3 and arm heart rate monitor to provide me with super accurate data about the work that I'm putting in day after day. This has been so instrumental in my training for helping me dial in my efforts and make sure that I'm hitting my training right on the nose. My coach appreciates it so much that I have accurate data all the time. If you're interested in COROS products, head to the link in my description, and thank you COROS for sponsoring this video. And then I started racing trails. My first trail race was Sierras and All, where I absolutely shit the bed and had the worst race of my life and got 32nd. I felt absolutely horrible and obviously won no money because I was basically walking in this race. So afterwards, I went to Poland and raced Tatra Sky Marathon, where 7 miles in, the race was canceled. So I didn't win money there because no one did, because the race never finished. That also was an L, but somehow it was less of an L than Sierras and All because I actually felt like not the worst I'd ever felt in my life. The last 2 races I talked about were part of the Golden Trail series, and next up was Headlands 30K, which was also part of the series. At that race, I got 9th place, and I ended up winning 400 euros, which is $420, so not a ton, but I took it as a huge win because after Sierras and All and Tatra, all I needed was a little dub, you know? I didn't need a big one. After that, I went to another race in the Golden Trail series, which was Mammoth 26K, and I got 8th at that one and won 500 euros. Really moving up here. Another little W there, which was cool. Next, I went to the Golden Trail Series finals in Switzerland, and that travel was covered by Golden Trail Series since I had made it into the top 30 world ranking. I raced the prologue and the final. In the prologue, I got 7th. In the final, I got 19th. The prologue was great. The final, not so much. Took a wrong turn, didn't feel quite as good, but I did end up moving into 15th for my overall world ranking and won 900 euros, which is $943. And it was a really fun trip, so overall a win. I thought that would be the end of my season, but then my surgery for my neck got rescheduled and I ended up adding 2 more races. So then I went to the US 10K Trail Running Championships, and I got 2nd there and won $1,890, which was a big prize purse for how competitive this race was. It was definitely competitive up front, but I would say it was only about like 6 people deep. Also, all accommodations and travel were covered, and not only that, but they booked them for us, which was super, super nice. Then my final race of the season was the Alpine Bank Turkey Trot. This one I did not expect there to be any prize money at because it was a local race, but it's Boulder, so there was. And I won this race and it was short, so I ran 14:37, but that converts to a 16:15 5K, and I got $200, which was pretty nice. The prize money actually went through 5 on this one, so I was like, we've got bronze level World Athletics events that only go through 3, so I feel like they need to take notes from Alpine Bank Turkey Trot. Overall, throughout the whole year, my grand total of prize money came out to $8,743.67, which is not a ton, but it's something, and it's actually the most I've ever made in prize money in 1 year, which says a lot about how consistent with racing I've been able to be since being a professional. But I am really happy that I won prize money consistently throughout the year and I was able to stay injury free. Like I said, I'm not in professional running for the money. This is all just bonus. I'm not choosing races based on what are the most lucrative for their level of competition, and if I were, I would probably be able to win more prize money, but to me it's so much more about personal fulfillment and having really good competitive race opportunities. I'm pleased with how much I won, but hopefully like every year I can just continue to be a little bit more competitive, climb the ranks a little bit more, and win a little bit more money. Obviously, the being more competitive and climbing the ranks are way more important to me than the money aspect of it. I also wanted to mention that I spent about $7,500 on travel this year, and luckily I have sponsors that will help me cover that cost. But if someone doesn't have sponsors, winning prize money really basically just negates how much you spent on travel and accommodations and race entry fees. The prize money that you win at a lot of track, cross, and trail races really doesn't do a whole lot if you're having to pay for everything yourself. I was happy with this year. I think it was good. Let me know in the comments what else you'd like to hear about as far as the professional running lifestyle goes, prize money, contracts, all of that. And that's all for now, folks.